This is Live from the Table, the official podcast of the world-famous Comedy Cellar, coming at you on Sirius XM 99. Raw Dog, baby. Also available as a podcast.
Not Raw Dog.
I'm sorry. Let me start that again.
Wait.
No, it is a different name now,
It's
right?
Raw Comedy. It's Raw Comedy.
Yeah.
Did I say Raw Dog?
Yeah.
You did.
Okay.
Twice.
Woof.
All right. This is Live from the Table, the official podcast of the world-famous Comedy Cellar, coming at you on Sirius XM 99. Raw Comedy. Also available as a podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we are on YouTube for a multimedia experience. This is Dan Natterman, sitting in the captain's chair today. Why? Because Noam Dworman is out of town. I don't know where he is, but he's not here. So, obviously, we're not going to discuss matters of great political import, because when I'm in charge, that's not what happens. We're here with Periel Ashenbrand
Hello.
and with Nate Macintosh.
Nathan Macintosh, yes. Thanks so much for having me. And I'm only here to talk about the big issues.
Okay. Well, if the big issues are your special, my album taping, and me opening for Howie Mandel, maybe Jimmy Carr on Fallon, these are some of the issues that I wanted to discuss. If you consider those big issues, then indeed we are in accord.
Yes, those are some of the big issues.
Okay.
The first one, the special, it's called Down with Tech. Please check it out. It is an hour of anti-big tech stuff.
And now, what's your beef with big tech?
I mean, Dan, what's not to have a beef about? These people are criminals. Mark Zuckerberg should be hit in the face with a stick. Elon Musk should be buried alive. These people are truly terrible, awful people. Sean Altman, hit with a full cappuccino in the eyes.
There may be awful people. It's often
Same
been
old.
said that good men are seldom great men are seldom good men. It's often been said.
Who said that?
I don't know, but it's often been said. I heard it on Twitter. Or I read it on Twitter. But in any case, yes, sometimes people do great things, but they're not good people.
Yeah.
So, for example, Spotify, I don't know if that guy's a good person, the guy who founded Spotify or not, but he's allowed us to listen to any song ever recorded for $10 a month.
Yep.
So is that, in your mind, a bad thing?
He's not a person I'm necessarily upset with, because I guess you can't fight on Spotify. Spotify doesn't change your the chemical in your brain. You know what I mean? It doesn't change your makeup, make you want to choke somebody. Makes sense?
Okay.
When you're on Spotify, you're not like, oh, I'd love to kill my aunt for her opinions about ABBA.
Right.
You're just allowed to
Well,
be on Spotify and listen to things. I can completely see why musicians, artists, whatever, would be mad at that guy. Completely understand that.
yeah, I don't. Right. Although, I
Why,
mean,
do they not make money?
they do
No.
make money. They don't make as
Not
much
yet.
money as they made in the go-go years, when you would pay $15 in the 80s for a CD, which is like $45 today, and maybe there'd be one or two good songs on the album. So they don't make that kind of money, but they make more than they made during the worst days, when there was like Napster and LimeWire and these places where people were just stealing music.
Right.
So, and then iTunes came along, and then
Oh my
and then
God.
Spotify came along.
0.003
Cents.
cents.
Well, if you're Taylor Swift, that adds up. If
If.
you're not Taylor Swift, it doesn't add up.
Wait a second. So, on average, Spotify pays artists between 0.003 and 0.005 per stream. This is roughly.
4 cents per 10 streams.
So somebody has to listen to your song 1,000 times for you to make $4 as an artist.
Which I just found out means that Down with Tech on Spotify has made $4. I believe it's been. Nobody's listened to it on Spotify, but if these numbers
Well,
are correct, I've made $4.
That might be bad news for the big dogs that used to make bazillions of dollars back in the era where you'd buy CDs, but smaller artists perhaps that couldn't get into the record stores in those days maybe I don't know.
Right,
I really don't know what.
Now you don't need those big record
But
labels.
Nate is Nathan, if he prefers, isn't mad at Spotify. He's mad at.
No, that guy necessarily he's Dutch or something.
Yeah, I think
or...
he's Swedish.
Yeah. No, I don't have a issue with him directly, but Musk, Zuckerberg, Steve.
Well, what's
Jobs,
wrong with
Sam
Musk
Altman.
now? Because of Twitter, not you have no beef with Tesla. It's Twitter is your beef.
Tesla can fuck off. No, Tesla can get fucked. Yeah, we don't need a fucking glass ceiling. The Cybertruck is. I
saw one, by the way, the other day.
I did too.
It was kind of cool.
You saw it here?
I forgot where I saw it. I forgot where I saw it, but it was cool. I was like, oh shit, this is kind of cool.
Really?
And I thought it looks stupid online, but then when I saw it in person, I'm like, you know what, that looks pretty cool.
I think the reverse for me. When I saw it online, you kind of go, yeah, all right, RoboCop.
I think I saw it in, I don't know, Stamford, Connecticut, maybe. That's where I grew
I saw
up.
it in Austin, the home
Yeah.
the home of the Cybertruck. Because doesn't he have a home there?
I don't know.
You ever
He
seen
might.
Cybertruck, Periel? I didn't mean to ask that.
In
the second you
person,
took your
in
phone.
person.
No, the Cybertruck.
The
That's
Cybertruck.
what I'm looking up. Cybertruck?
It looks like something that would have
I see that.
that would have that Kyle Reese would have driven in to fight a Terminator.
Yes, it does.
So but when you see it in person, it looks like they just put a thing over a car. And this thing can't get rained on. I really think that he made this as a joke. I'm not kidding. I don't think this is a real car. I know it exists. I understand it's out there.
Okay.
I think he made this as a goof. Because people are like, oh, that's the future man. He wants to build a tunnel from wherever to wherever. I think he's like, oh yeah, you think and this is a troll. This is a full troll
I think so.
on planet Earth. Because when you see that in life, that is a piece of shit. You can't. What the fuck are you gonna do with that?
I
Dan?
liked it when
to
I
do
saw
what?
it.
What do you want to do with it?
I don't know what I want to do with it. I thought it looked cool. I thought it
Look
looked
cool where? To who?
And this
You have
is
to drive the
Homer's-
same speed as everybody else. You can't.
It's
you can't-
ridiculous. Come on, it's
Yeah, it's stupid.
ridiculous.
This is better. That's better.
That's Homer Simpson. Let the record show that's Homer Simpson's design for a car. When I guess he was working for his long lost brother or something that had a car company. I think was that.
That
what
I
it
don't
was?
remember.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's what it is.
but your main beef with Musk is Twitter, not Tesla.
No. Twitter, I don't necessarily care about. I dislike any of the people that we've heralded as like, oh, they have money and they have thoughts, so ergo they're the best. It's like if people in Superman looked at Lex Luthor as some kind of hero. He's in that
Did
realm.
Luther have money?
Yes.
I guess he did. He must have.
Yeah.
How do you make his money? I guess just thieving.
That I don't know.
He's a super
Yeah,
criminal.
maybe just thieving.
Yeah, or
Which
maybe-
you could argue here.
Yeah.
Wait, but
Uh,
I thought the thing that you didn't like was social media.
Well, that's what he
Social
said.
media, I'm not a fan.
Twitter
Of.
is horrible.
Sure, yeah. I'm not for Twitter, but I'm saying before he bought it, I wasn't a
You didn't love
Musk
him,
man.
me
I've never been
Right,
like
right.
You don't
we-
like that because they're rich, we think they have something to say and we should listen to them.
I also don't think he's like as look, and I'm not saying I'm a smart person. I don't think he's as smart as people say that he is. He has basically said with his darty little weird eyes, "Hey, I'm going to build a tunnel from LA to New York." And people go, "Whoa."
Did he say that? Oh,
Yeah.
you mean the Hyperloop?
Yes.
Is that a Hyperloop thing?
There's no that is not a thing. We're not going to Mars. This fucking prick piece of shit. We're not
I would agree with you. We're not going to Mars.
not going to Mars.
We're also not getting a tunnel from LA to New York.
No, we're not. And
Well,
he didn't
I'm not ruling out
invent-
Hyperloop at some point in the future. I'm ruling out going to Mars at least for another 2 centuries, if not until our species is extinct.
Yeah.
But the car is good from all accounts. You don't like the car.
the car only in the sense that like there's a lot of people that think that he like invented the electric
Okay, he did
vehicle.
not.
He did not. It was we could have had this thing in 2000. But oil companies were like, fuck
Well,
that. Get it
I
off
don't
the
know
goddamn
about that
roads.
because the battery technology has made some great strides, particularly the lithium-ion battery, which is Max maybe can look this up, but the lithium-ion battery was a great leap forward in battery technology. That's relatively recent, and scaling it up to power an automobile, I don't think could have been necessarily done in the 80s. Maybe I don't know.
I'm
but
talking about 2000, not 80s. 80s
said
would have
2000.
needed like fucking
all right.
67 AA batteries or those D cell.
Well, I don't think it was. I don't think oil companies. I don't believe that the oil companies are responsible for the lack of progress in electric cars.
There was a okay. But either way, he's not the inventor of these things. I don't think he's there. He is. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I would actually love that. That'd be great.
Well, that would be a great episode.
That would
It
be-
would probably go viral.
One
but
of
who
the
could
most
say?
fantastic things that's ever happened to anybody. Imagine I changed my whole
I'll
tune.
settle for
I love you.
I'll settle for Kyle Dunnigan doing an impression of Elon Musk.
The impressions were pretty good. But him, Bezos, those guys.
What about Bezos though?
Bezos, Amazon, I think, is a net negative for the for everything. And he again, I don't know why we've taken these tech people and made them like models.
Well,
you know?
he's not a model, but Amazon is, I think, a good thing. Even
Tell
though
that to the
it's
people.
rendered many stores. It's bankrupted a lot of people, I guess. But that's what always happens when technology moves forward.
Well, what
I think-
about the people who work like 19 hours straight and aren't allowed to go to the
Well, I'm
bathroom?
categorically against that.
Fuck them. That's what I say.
Um,
I'm now speaking from the thing of Bezos. Go to Amazon, Buy a bigger bladder. I will have it to you in 1 hour. And then you never need to go to the bathroom again during one of your 19 to 21 hour shifts.
Is that really true though? Is
People piss in bottles?
that they have
For
to
sure.
wear like diapers and stuff because they're not?
There's fucking Uber drivers that piss in goddamn bottles and shit, and that's on their own accord. You know what I mean? They can make their own schedule. That would be a for sure thing that's happening to Amazon drivers and shit. Also, just the idea that like you see that picture of him on like a tractor. He's like a hot man now in society because he made. He tried to sell it. Well, he sold us books, and then he's like, "What if I sold you every single thing? You never need to leave your house again." Now he's on a tractor with his biceps.
I bought a on Amazon because one buys ridiculous things on Amazon. A projector that projects the northern lights onto my ceiling and stars. And
Is that for like a mobile? That seems
no,
like
it just
for
projects like
for children.
For children. No, I
Look at that. The third picture there.
Oh my god!
Get fucked, pal. That's like a Marlboro ad. That's like a I'm a Stetson man with a Stetson plan.
I want to address this notion that this is for children. There's nothing childish about it. When I'm lying there in my race car bed and looking at these stars, there's nothing childish.
Eating gumdrops. But what is that for? Honestly, is that
because I saw it online and all I had to do was click a button and I get it and it was easy. And
Dan, I'm not attacking you. I love that you have it. I'm saying what?
And then I took it into my bathroom and that is a next level shit because with the steam when the beams of light go through the steam, you see it looks like a laser.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I had to buy a speaker for my bathroom because you can't have a laser light show without music.
What
so then I went and bought a speaker with my bathroom.
What do you have? What song do you have constantly playing it?
No, I just got the speaker today. It just
What's that song? What's the one that they have at air shows?
But I think Pink Floyd would be. I don't know. Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Yes, that's exactly it.
No, this is for laser. We need Pink Floyd for that.
Who sings "Rock Me Like a Hurricane"?
That's the Scorpions.
Thank you, Jesus Christ.
Anyway,
that's a pretty good shower. You got. Here I am, and there's just the light.
For your shower maybe, but not for my shower.
Well,
my shower was Pink Floyd.
All I was at, that's a good.
Especially because you got laser. You're in a psychedelic mood.
Wait, what is going on in your bathroom? Is this like you're going to take a shower?
Yeah, and then I take the projector in the bathroom, and I put it on the floor and angle it at like a 45-degree angle. Close the lights, turn the projector on. Start the music.
And shower in the Northern Lights.
And I've decided that my goal in life is to have a planetarium with a hot tub at home.
All of these things can be purchased on Amazon, and they'll have them to you in 68 seconds. My only question was, and I'm not asking you why you bought it. I'm saying, is the purpose of the Northern Light projector solely to project,
to look at it and it's cool.
Okay. Was it? But okay. Yeah. All right.
Or like 8-year-olds.
That's why I said that earlier, and he was like, he fought me. He said, no dice. This is for adult men who showered.
You know what? 8-year-olds know how to have a good time.
But nobody's disputing that fact.
8-year-olds are always having fun. I mean, I'll buy a beanbag chair too. If you keep
a lava lamp.
I might. Yeah, I wouldn't rule that out.
I haven't had a beanbag chair in a long time. They were a party.
Now wait a second. I have a question though. Do you shop on Amazon?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Where are you going to get the Northern Lights projector?
I would buy it from the northernlights.com people and wait longer to fucking get it.
And pay more?
Sure. Maybe once a year I'll buy something on Amazon because it's like whatever. I need this fucking thing right fucking now. But mostly what I buy is books, and I buy them on
shit you can't really find anywhere else. I guess you can always find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Natural History Museum and buy that Northern Lights thing. Probably.
Like I needed
go
some
to a
stuff.
playground.
I needed some
child. Where did you
I needed some stuff to thread a cable around my door frame.
Yeah.
Because the modem, I put the modem in the closet. But I had to plug the modem in, and the nearest outlet was on the other side of the wall. So I needed like those things. So I just like Googled, like a wire, hooked around the door, and boom, it pops up.
Yeah.
And maybe I could have gotten it somewhere else.
Sure, you could have gone to like Home Depot.
B&H probably has that. Walmart. But either way, it's more work to do it. But I am at a stage in my life I'm willing to and able to do the extra work to give money to this crooked-eyed cocksucker and let him buy another.
Okay, I have to respect that. Okay, you know what? Let me investigate a little bit more in terms of the exploitation that you speak about, and if it's what you're saying is true, and perhaps I'll do likewise and order direct from the original manufacturer. You might be onto something. I'm not fighting you on this.
I mean, he's
I
for
just
sure right.
I never thought about it that way.
Well, I mean, of course he's right that we're.
But I don't know that these other companies aren't exploiting people
well,
too.
that's a different question. I mean, the other thing that strikes me as interesting is that your Down with Tech seems to be doing very well on said platform of Instagram.
Yeah, and people message me about that. They're like, isn't it odd? And I'm like, yeah, man, I also have strapped it to carrier pigeons who are bringing it to you as well. I'm not pretending that we don't live here, but I am attacking it because it's just like a lot of it's so bullshit. And we just have to walk around and pretend that everything that comes to us is great because the 4 wizards told us so. I like... We just keep making these people out to be
Well, I don't
heroes.
make them out to be...
Not you. I'm not saying you.
Okay, well, I think many people's personal opinion is these people aren't heroes, but they have some good products that I use.
Okay, you know what? To that point, sorry to cut you off. Just to add to your point, you might be 100% right. We don't make them heroes. Somebody is though. Somebody put that fucking man's picture on the goddamn
Well, look,
cover
you
of
know that when,
somebody has a cool picture of Zuckerberg when he's like,
well, serial killers get letters in jail
Yes.
saying I want to have your baby. I mean,
Yes.
what can I tell you? If you're famous, someone's going to worship you. But
I would say, in all seriousness, Mark Zuckerberg is worse than these serial killers combined. Line them up. He's done more damage to society than serial killers.
Maybe. Why has he done damage to society?
Brains. Our brains are fucked. Every one of us is immeasurably changed because of one idiot in a hoodie who's now building a goddamn bunker.
Well, I mean, you know that we had a guest on, Jonathan Haidt, who's Haidt. He's a psychologist, and he thinks that social media has been very damaging for young people, and he blames the explosion of neuroses and psychological distress among young people on social media. But that doesn't mean social media is bad if we have parents that are...
Parents that what?
No.
Are shaking their ass on the same goddamn platform? Everybody's fucked. I'm not everybody. There's aunts out there that are willing to eat people because of things they read online. We're fucked.
Well, look, I think social media has a good side to it.
And Candy Crush numbers with your friends.
No, it's just
Horrific.
people that are shy, people that people that feel alone, isolated, might be able to find like-minded people on social media. Hopefully, those like-minded people aren't like-minded, like we're going to blow up,
Other flat
a building in Oklahoma City type stuff. But a gay kid that lives in Iowa goes online, goes on social media, and finds other people, and he's all of a sudden not so isolated and alone.
One
That
guy.
he might otherwise be.
Somebody who wants to put
There's
northern
also
lights
there's also
on
a
their
lot of
bathroom
there's a
ceiling.
lot of I've learned
That is a
stuff.
great page.
I've learned stuff on social media. A lot of debates. I follow Noam on Twitter, and he's very interesting. He posts a lot of interesting stuff. I don't mean to compliment him. I prefer to insult him, but it is true.
But there is something intentionally built in to social media which is meant by design to be divisive and corrosive in that algorithm, and it is ruining people's brains. I mean, that is a material fact.
I don't know if it's a material fact that it's ruining people's brains.
It is. Children, it is.
Well, Jonathan Haidt, in any case.
Well, he's not.
He didn't say it's ruined people's brains, but he did say it has some deleterious, if you will, since Noam's not here, I'll use big words, effects on psychology. I would like to, if I could steer the conversation to issue 2. My taping that I did on when did I do it? On Mother's Day, Sunday. It was Mother's Day. They gave me the worst possible time slot. Mother's Day, 5 p.m. Mother's Day.
Oh, I was going to guess 4 p.m. would be the worst. 5 is pretty
I think,
rough.
well, maybe 4 a.m. would be worse. But of the time slots that
4 p.m. is what I meant. But 5 p.m. on a Mother's Day is
on a Mother's Day was bad.
Absolutely.
And I did it the Fat Black Pussycat. Fat Black Pussycat. You know what I mean? The Fat Black Pussycat Lounge.
You nailed it both times with that. All 3 times you
All
said
right.
it perfectly.
Okay. And
That's great.
So I just taped it. It's not for they call it an album tape, but it's not an album. It's just a bunch of shit that I'm taping so they can play on Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, does pay decently.
Mm-hmm.
And my anxiety was off the chain. I don't know why. I think it was a combination of factors, but I can't necessarily quite. I don't really know why I was so anxious. It was a combination of factors. Number one, I wanted to do a good job. Number two, a couple of people that I know personally were told me they were coming, and I didn't want it to be empty, and I look like an idiot because I can't fill up an 80-seat lounge, and I didn't want to do a bad job in front of them. And it was only 40 people showed up, but in the lounge it doesn't look so horrible.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, so they give away these, just to let the audience know, comics do these, one person. The Comedy Cellar is usually an MC and 4 or 5 comics, but sometimes they'll let a comic, for example, on 5 p.m. on Mother's Day, they'll let him do a whole hour, and he's the whole show. But a lot of people that come to these shows are only coming because they went on the website and all the other shows were sold out.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true.
Of course it's true.
No, of course it's not true. We've had this conversation before. Nobody
It's absolutely
is
true.
Go to see you do an hour if they're not actually excited to see Dan.
They know the Comedy Cellar has a name. They know the Comedy Cellar is known for quality. And they figure, okay, this Dan Natterman guy is probably pretty good, and all the other shows are sold out.
Or they're like, oh, look, it's Dan.
No, no
Natterman.
one's saying that.
Comedians are
One has to be realistic about one's.
Or
some of those people
realistic or like so
Nathan, agree or disagree?
I would say your negative opinion of yourself is directly correlated to how much time you spend on social media. To bring it back to issue 1, you need to get off of it. You need to shut it down. Turn your phone off. And also, I don't disagree with you that.
But there are
some positives to social media, but there's a lot more negatives. And yes, I also to answer your question, I do think you're right about what you just said. In some instances, some people do. Yes,
like for example, these two.
Not everybody by any stretch.
I'm standing there watching people come in, and I see these 2 black women coming, and I'm saying you better put them near the door because they're not going to last for a whole hour of Dan Natterman. But they did.
I think that's ridiculous. I think that's just the
so many things happened in that sentence. You know what I mean? So many things happened.
But they're not Dan Natterman fans.
Why
can't they be Dan Natterman fans? Why?
I don't see it.
Why are you?
You know, if I see a 60-year-old Jewish man, I'm like, he's here for me.
He could be the one that hates you the most.
100%.
He could be the guy that gets up and goes, I've heard Dan Natterman my whole fucking life. Yeah. My family is Dan Natterman.
Yeah, but those guys tend to like me.
Okay, but so did this couple that you're talking about.
They were in a couple. There's 2 women.
Well, how do you know they were in a couple?
Well, that either way. So there's 2 people. They came in and they watched the whole show.
They saw the whole show.
They're Natterman fans,
but they weren't next to the door. So
they're Nattermaniacs.
Oh,
maybe they just didn't want to leave.
It's ridiculous.
They were in the back, and I think they were. Anyway, it went well.
Of course, it went well. Why wouldn't it have gone well?
It went well. And I'm doing another one on on the 20th of May at 10:30 p.m.
The same stuff or different stuff?
Mostly the same, because some of the stuff didn't hit, and so I want to just redo those. And then there's some jokes that I forgot to do.
And you'd like whatever posts you're using to promote it to not advertise to black people. That's what you're saying here and now.
No. They advertise to everybody,
black women.
but I know who tends to.
I know
who comes up to me after the show. No, that's really not true. But I guess
if you listen to this podcast and you're black, stay away from Dan Natterman. He doesn't feel that you will like his comedy,
which is absurd.
That's
insanity.
I mean, it's such an insane thing to say.
But I get comedians have fucking weird neurotic things.
Only people who are exactly like me are going to think that I'm funny. That's essentially what you're saying.
That's sort of what I was saying, but it's obviously I know intellectually it's not true, but when you put me in a heightened state of anxiety, and I know that that at least some number of people are only here because they couldn't get into any of the other shows.
But you've
that is true. That part is true. That part is true.
Maybe on
that
some,
part is true.
Like maybe
I would say at least half of the people, there were people I knew personally that came, and then I would say at least half of the remainder, which wasn't many, it was only 40 people or so total, was only there because it's like, okay, the Comedy Cellar's all sold out, and this guy Dan Natterman, he's at the Comedy Cellar. How bad could he be? And we got nothing to do.
Okay, so I think that the way that you're looking at this is so exhausting because, first of all, 40 people, 5 o'clock on a Mother's Day is frankly not that fucking bad.
I'd say it's pretty good. You ever work at a restaurant on Mother's Day?
No.
Buddy. The worst. The worst. The worst.
It's crowded though.
Super crowded. It's complete insanity. At 5 p.m. on a Mother's Day, do you know how many restaurants wished they'd had 40 people that didn't want to be there? They would have loved that. You had arguably probably the best crowd in the city on 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m.
I'm serious.
Well, but there aren't too many shows at 5 p.m. in the city.
I'm not talking shows. I'm talking crowds.
Okay.
Every restaurant in the city, I bet, was packed. 5 p.m. Mother's Day.
Right.
So
awful.
So people who went to see you were so excited to see comedy.
Right, but not necessarily so excited to see me. I had to make...
But then the people who were there to see you, who were actually, you knew, who were super excited to see you personally, that was also stressing you out.
Yes.
Dan, there was servers on Sunday.
I was stressed out that I wouldn't do a good job, and people from high school would think I'm a loser.
Even though you're recording an album for Sirius at the best comedy club in arguably the world.
You're forgetting that there was 2 black women there. That cannot happen on Dan Natterman's watch. But there was every server in this city had a worse time than you. Okay. Every single one. They made more money. Yeah. They all had
a lot of people
time.
have a worse time than me. People that are working for Amazon that have to pee in a jar, for example.
We're back to topic one.
But I don't. Human nature is not to look at the people that have it worse than you. It's look at the people that have it better than you.
This is Dan's famous line. It's like being the best basketball.
No, but that's not relevant to. That's a lot.
What is this line? What's this line?
But that's not relevant to the discussion.
It is the discussion.
No, it is not.
Okay.
Well, somebody did. I do this too. Even if something's going well, I'm like, yes, but somebody. There's a comedian in Latvia who I don't know his name. He's selling out an arena right now, maybe a stadium. He's doing a soccer stadium in front of 75,000 hot Latvian women, all with their tits out. You know what I mean? So what I did here is useless. I get what you're saying. I do the same thing.
Okay.
Somewhere around the world, there's somebody else. There's a man being violently blown while I got some money. But like, am I being supremely sucked by a hot Croatian model? No.
Well, in my defense, once the show was going well, these thoughts sort of evaporated.
Oh, that's good.
And then after the show, I felt good about myself. Did it last? No, but if 2 or 3 hours of self-esteem isn't bad.
I'm actually very glad to hear you say that it evaporated for a little while, because my other question is like, these people from high school who are going to think that you were a quote unquote loser, what the fuck do they do? Like, what is their career?
Doctors, lawyers.
Yeah, normal things. You know,
are they doctors and lawyers?
Well,
brain surgeon.
I mean, my friends from high school, you know, I mean, one's a big financial guy on Wall Street. One's an architect. One's a doctor in the Midwest. One's an art professor. I mean,
and you don't think
normal job.
And don't you think they're like, oh my God, it's so cool that Dan's a comic?
I don't know what they're thinking.
Dan, can I ask you a question? At what minute did you stop the show and ask these 2 black women to leave? 12, 18?
No, I didn't ask them.
Guys, I can't go on. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't have any racist jokes, but I do have a couple jokes that have the word black in them.
Uh-oh.
And I was a little self-conscious, but it went fine.
You shouldn't be. I'm not now. This is not me trying to be a weirdo.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of things that you do. Mm-hmm. You're not attacking anybody.
Right.
And I say that in a good way. You don't need to worry about the thing that you're worried about right there.
Okay.
I'm serious.
All right. Okay.
All right. He doesn't believe me, but I
do believe.
You don't need to worry about any of the things that you're worrying about.
But that's not fun.
Right.
If you take all the worrying out of comedy, there's about 10% left. It's writing, saying the things.
So where are you at? What headspace are you in these days? Are you feeling good about Nathan Macintosh?
Well, like I said, sometimes I'm doing okay, and then there's this fucking Latvian comedian, man. He sells out these stadiums, and it's just tits.
Is there really a Latvian comedian?
I don't know, but
there's plenty of American comedians that we know personally that are selling out stadiums, or that are selling out arenas. Anyway.
But arenas is bullshit. Okay. That's not a stadium full of tits. I'm talking, you know, stadiums, 60,000 screaming vaginas.
Does it really get under your skin that people are selling out large venues?
I wake up sometimes, like I said, same as you. I wake up sometimes and I have a sip of coffee and I'm like, I'm doing okay. And then you just you take half a second, right? You're not vigilant, and something just creeps in your brain. And you're like, Everybody's fucking better than me. The doctors, the lawyers, the architects. I mean, there's an architect in Germany who sells out stadiums.
Does he?
He does the blueprints on a stage in
that's
front of
interesting.
60,000 screaming German women.
I would
with
imagine that social media is the reason. Because he's probably like an influencer, an architectural influencer.
Back
This
on
is
issue.
not a thing. Is that true? You
There's a-
made that up.
Look, Jordan
he
Peterson.
made that
Oh, did
up.
you make that up?
Yeah, I did. I
Okay.
apologize.
Because Jordan
I'm just having a good time.
But Jordan Peterson sold out, I think, Radio City. He's not a comic. He's not a
He
performer.
does
he's
like huge.
he's just talking.
Yeah. You guys haven't had. He's never been in here. right?
No, I mean,
I told you I saw him around the corner.
yeah, at the
He
Fat
was
Black
at the bar.
Pussycat.
He was at the bar.
I'm sure he would do the show.
He was watching the show. So I go in. I'm from Canada, and anyways, he comes out and he's very gaunt. I'm not trying to attack him.
No, I've seen him. He's a skeleton.
He's a gaunt man. It looks like his suit is weighing him down.
He only eats meat. He's on
Yes.
an all meat diet.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a carnivore
He
diet.
eats meat and commenters on Twitter. he was very gaunt, and I just went. It was like seeing. Like the Loch Ness monster or something, and not because I think he's some kind of evil man, just because you've seen him everywhere online, and then he's just, you know what I mean? He's in your face. I went, whoa, and he looked at me, and I didn't know what to say. I go, I'm from Canada, and he came over and he took my hand like this, like a
Right.
like a grandparent.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just sort of like did that,
Did he say anything?
and then walked out. I said, you know what I said to him? I go, you, because he's holding my hand like this,
Yeah,
and we're just kind of looking at each other. And I could feel the meat coursing through his
Right.
veins. And I said, you say some things that probably should be said.
Okay.
And he just went.
He
and
just
then-
nodded his head.
Yeah, I think he just kind of tapped me like that, which is like a thank you in
In Canadian?
Canadian.
no, I was gonna say in grandmother, and I'm not trying to attack him, but you know what I mean?
Do you think my thought is that about Jordan Peterson is that without that goofball accent, he would not be famous.
It's so funny that you think it's a goofball accent.
Well, whatever it is, I mean,
He's
yeah,
from
but
Alberta.
but he's not from. It's not like he's not even from the city. This guy's from some swamp, and you know.
Swamp. It's
I mean-
definitely a pond for sure, and it would definitely frozen. He's from an ice fishing hut, if anything.
Yeah, that's a backwoodsy accent.
Yeah,
it
he's
seems
from
to me.
outside. I think he's from outside Edmonton somewhere, but I don't know exactly where he's from. He's definitely from Alberta. But it's funny. He doesn't. I hear him, and I just hear.
You think a normal dude?
I think Alberta. I think like he's.
Yeah, but
Canada has a
it's-
bunch of different fucking voices. You know,
But his
Accents.
but his
Yeah, yeah,
accent
yeah.
is turbocharged. I mean, I've known Canadians, but this
they
guy's
say
up.
he's from Edmonton. Yeah, Fairview. That's it. Yes, it's a smaller. Yeah.
Max, you're killing it today.
That accent is not. I mean, you don't talk like that.
I'm from the complete opposite end of the country.
Can you tell like where people are from in Canada from their accent?
Yeah, depending. It's sometimes, most times. Alberta for sure. Toronto for sure.
Really?
Yeah, the Maritimes for sure, where I'm from. Newfoundland for sure.
What does Newfoundland sound like?
It's a whole thing. It's like a. It's
Oh, they almost sound Irish. They're like removed from, like they're so far away.
yeah.
It's like is it an island or it's
Yeah. I guess. Yes. Yeah.
so?
It's so huge though. But yeah, it's an island.
Do you agree with me that Jordan Peterson without that accent would not be Jordan Peterson?
I don't know that I agree that that's the one thing that's put him over the top.
See, I think that, and the fact he's kind of an attractive gentleman, and the accent. I think, especially in this era, of
Why?
sound bites,
Mhm.
it really is
He's
distinct.
also a very smart person who dresses well. That has always worked in.
Okay, so
society.
the dressing well, you do think is a factor. So why not
Right?
come with
Wouldn't it
me?
be?
Why not come?
Yes.
Why not come with me to all the way? You're
the accent thing.
and just
I don't. Well,
be
it's
totally
funny,
on board with my.
I hear him as a Canadian, but I don't hear it as a goofy. There are way goofier Canadian accents than that. Like a
I said-
Bob and Doug McKenzie. Like that's.
Well,
like
but that's not. Those people aren't even real.
I know, but that's a heightened. But that's what when I hear you describe
goof-
Jordan, that's what I hear.
It's
you.
goofy enough and it's distinctive enough, especially for people that aren't from that area, that I think it really is distinctive.
Mhm.
And I do think it played a big role because we'll never know. We can't know. We can't know what would have happened if he just talked like
I always ask
a
people that
regular
say they're into
person.
Jordan Peterson why.
what's that?
I always ask people when they're into Jordan Peterson why.
Well, they don't
Here's the top
necessarily
3
know
answers.
why.
No, they know. They know.
But they might not know if
I know what makes me hard. right?
Okay, yes.
These people, Jordan Peterson makes them hard, so they know the things about him that make them hard. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't think
Thank
they
you.
would necessarily perceive if the accent is playing a role in how they.
Why
you know,
not?
when somebody speaks about Dr. King, if Dr. King was like, I have a dream,
Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
Okay.
If he talked like, I have a dream, would he be Martin Luther
Nebbish?
King?
What if he was like a nerdy
If
Jew?
he
Yeah,
was
he's
Woody
Nebbish.
Allen, if it was Woody Allen
Yeah.
saying, I have a dream, it's large breasts. No, if
Oh my God, what is happening?
if he had that accent, nobody would care what he had to say.
Maybe.
It's the music. Don't you get it? It's not the lyric.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't think that Jordan Peterson's accent is that goofy of a thing.
Call it goofy, call it distinctive. There's
Distinct,
a music.
you could say.
There's a musicality to it.
Sure.
I think Dave Chappelle, to get it back into comedy, I think he has a vocal quality that is riveting. And I don't think that material coming out of some other voice would have the same impact.
I think this is just me. This is me now. I feel specifically on Dave. Dave is more cigarette now than man.
Okay.
It's like a cigarette talking,
Yes.
which has a distinctive voice.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're just having a good time here, Dan.
Yeah, I know. But-
Wait, but the thing I don't understand why you think that if you can recognize that as a quality, that other people can't look at it and say, "Oh, he has this like mellifluous voice or whatever," and that's something that contributes.
Well, because I'm coming from outside the Jordan Peterson orbit. I'm not a Jordan Peterson-ophile. I mean, yeah, I some of the stuff he says, as you pointed out, Nathan, is I think interesting and good.
Sure.
But I can view it from the outside. People that are inside in his world, in his sway, might not perceive
I
it.
think it's the suits. It's probably a little bit of the voice. I also think, I don't know if you know this, when people go to his shows,
Yeah.
he has a T-shirt cannon.
No, he does.
He does. He's on stage with a T-shirt cannon. There's also women on either side. They're dancing to jock jams, and he's shooting
No, he's
those lobster T-shirts into the. He's pointing to the
Oh,
rafters.
Why lobster t-shirt?
He has a whole thing about lobsters. It's a whole deal you'd have to get into, and I only know about it from hearing about it. I'm also not a Jordan Peterson-ophile or whatever you said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I know the guy exists. I've not met him, but I've taught. You know what I mean?
Well, you
I
did
know
meet
he's a
him.
real
You
human
meet him.
being on this
You
earth.
also met, if I may bring it up, it may be a sore point. You also met, what's that singer from Canada? Anne Murray. Anne Murray. You
I
met-
didn't meet Anne Murray. I met Anne Murray's niece.
You met Anne Murray's niece. Now, if,
Ugh.
just a little background. Anne Murray, I'm proud to say, I enjoy her music. She's easy listening.
Yeah.
To the hilt. She's a Canadian
Nova Scotian hero.
songstress.
Spring Hill,
Wow.
Nova Scotian treasure.
Songbird. What are her famous songs? Not Songbird.
Isn't that
What?
one?
A Woman in Love. I'm just another woman in love.
Uh-huh.
I wanted. You needed me.
Here's what happened.
But anyway,
in this song.
she's a hero in Nova Scotia.
hero. She's a Canadian hero, but
Yeah.
definitely in fucking. When you pass, I mean, I've been on the goddamn 102 highway a billion times going from Halifax to Miramichi.
To who?
Where I'm from in Halifax to where my whole family's from. in
I
New
lost you when
Brunswick.
you said Mr. Magoo.
Yeah, Mr. Magoo. I'm driving up to Mr. Magoo and Me Too's house. On the way, you pass Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, and there's this home of Anne Murray. She's like, anyways, years and years ago, they had this. We went on a tour. We went to Quebec City for spring break, right when we were 18, because you can drink at 19 in Nova Scotia, but Quebec you can drink at 18. So everybody got on a bus. We went out there. I was at a club. I was dancing with this lady. And asking her where she's from, and she's like, "I'm from Spring Hill," and I go, "Oh my God, Spring Hill, that's where Anne Murray's from." And I was just trying to be fucking funny. I don't even care. I don't even have an opinion on this. I go, Anne Murray sucks. I don't even believe that. Like that's not even a thing that I don't even know enough. I you know what I mean? I don't care. I was just trying to make and she goes, Anne Murray's my aunt. I went, oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, there's no
Absolutely.
coming back from that.
There, and I'll tell you this: there is no coming back from that, and there was no coming back from that. That ended that entire exchange with that lady. Toast. She right away, and of course she's fucking Anne Murray's Knees. Spring Hill's got like 8 people in it.
Yeah.
2 of them are Anne Murray.
At a minimum, she was a friend of Anne.
Friend of a friend, knows her, has seen her at Canadian Tire. Anne Murray sucks. And I don't even believe that.
What is your honest opinion about Anne Murray?
Anne Murray's, she's a Nova Scotian fucking treasure. She's great.
You're skirting the question.
I don't have a full on.
Because I'll throw you out of here if you don't like Anne Murray.
Fine with me saying that Elon Musk should be hit in the face with a stick, but God forbid, I don't know enough of Anne Murray's catalog. I know much more about Rita McNeil's catalog.
Who's Rita McNeil?
Rita McNeil's Cape Breton fucking treasure, which is also in Nova Scotia. Lesser known outside of Canada.
I would recommend. I would start you out with Just Another Woman in Love.
I'm gonna listen to it as soon as I'm
And
done here, and I have to call Anne Murray actually.
And what's that?
Everybody in Nova Scotia, we all have each other's numbers. Everybody that's ever been born in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Hank Snow died a little while ago, so I can't call him anymore. But I gotta call. I gotta call her. I gotta call. Her. Yeah, I gotta call her. So. Well, I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna listen. To that.
And then would move on to Can I Have This Dance for the Rest of My Life?
What is that? That's an Anne Murray.
Anne Murray
Can you
song.
pull this woman
Can you
up?
play I'm Just Another Woman in Love?
We'll probably get a copy.
Can we just see a picture of Anne Murray? The
Well, just
woman I said-
play a clip.
No, we
the
can't.
3
The
woman I
notes.
said who
Sued.
Well,
sucks
we'll
to
play
her
it and
own
then we'll
music.
edit it out. But you can hear it and give your
There she
opinion.
is.
Oh wow.
Look. I mean, she looks very Canadian folksy. Can you play?
Super cool when she was.
Can you play I'm Just Another Woman in Love? A few bars.
No, you.
We'll edit it out and then we'll hear what you have to say about it.
1945.
Can you do that, Maxwell?
Yeah, what is it? Another.
I'm Just Another Woman in Love.
You're gonna play it for just us in the room?
But we can cut it and then we hear what you would think of it.
Oh.
And the people at home can listen to it and then
Anne Murray can listen to it. She's still out there. I forget. I don't know where she lives, but she's out there.
she probably still lives in Nova Scotia.
I don't think so.
Okay, so
All right.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
that's
my
like a not. Like
that's
much
my
like-
that was I'm not gonna lie to you, Dan. That's my favorite song.
Well, I'm saying
Maybe
we
we
could cut
should
it out.
get her
now.
on the show.
Whatever. We could try. She actually featured prominently in an episode of Family Guy where Stewie listened to one of her songs on the radio and like loved it, and then met Anne Murray and found out that Anne Murray didn't write any of the songs, and then felt betrayed, and then like I think like tied her up or something. I don't remember.
That's
precisely. Nobody saw that
hysterical.
episode of the Family Guy.
No.
Anyway,
It's so
and Anne
weird.
Murray voiced. I guess she's a good sport, and she voiced her own voice.
That's very
Okay.
funny. I mean, but who's going to say no to doing that on Family Guy?
Yeah, especially when you're someone, you want to be relevant in modern times. It was an opportunity, I guess, for her to do that.
The
Mhm.
thing that's odd is that in the bio of her Instagram profile, it says Anne Murray and it's the Anne Murray, and she is verified. It says musician band, but then it says born in Spring Hill, Nova Scotia,
Mm-hmm.
Spring Hill High School,
Mm-hmm.
University of New Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Who cares?
What do
Why?
you mean? Who cares? The people that are from, dude. Sometimes I'll go on a podcast, right? And I try to say where I'm from because there's there's 9 of us. Nova Scotia in general has 1 million people in the entire province. That's a third or a fourth of what Queens has. So I say I'm from Nova Scotia, and I get messages. People be like, "Dude, I'm from Sackville. I'm from here. I'm from there." Like, you've been here, so that's why she would say it. Just in general, and it's also a proud thing. You're from fucking Spring Hill, coal mining town. You got out of there.
Who cares where you went to high school, though?
Buddy, Spring Hill. Look, they have Spring Hill High. Spring Hill High. Maybe you don't know about them, but it's a
Yeah.
powerful place. It's Anne Murray, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan spent a semester there.
The spring.
Is that true?
LeBron,
No, shut up. You're
Kobe.
lying now.
everybody was there. Gretzky,
He's full of shit.
every athlete you've ever heard, Muhammad Ali, fought George Foreman in Spring Hill.
I wonder what their mascot's got to be like the Otters or the Beavers or something. I mean,
Nathan has
It's
a
gotta be a
beaver.
coal mine. I bet
Let
it's a
the
coal mine. You
record
think it's a coal
show.
mine? Yeah.
Let the record show for those of you who are only listening that Nathan does have a beaver embroidered on his jacket.
It's a Roots jacket. It says Canada on the back.
It says Canada on the front too.
Damn it.
but that brings up a question that I did want to ask you. Actually, I was planning to ask you.
It's gotta be a coal mine.
Is you're a proud Canadian? We know that.
Mhm.
Do you see any future for Nathan Macintosh in Canada? Are you done with Canada? Are you going to spend the rest of your life here in the United States?
No, I will not be eaten in America. When social media, right, fully eats children's brains
Yeah.
and adults' brains who are shaking their ass for that sweet, sweet money to feed their kids who are also making money. When those people decide to give up on polite society, no more talking to each other, and we just start eating each other in the streets, I will move back to Nova Scotia, outside of Spring Hill maybe. I'll get a small house. I'll start smoking cigarettes. I'll get a truck. I'll grow a beard, and I'll just talk to seagulls.
But the serious question though, if you became you're a huge comic, you can live anywhere. You don't have to live in New York because it's a kind of a show busy move now to not live in New York. Like Chappelle lives in Ohio. Nikki Glaser, I think, lives in where does she live? Kansas City or some shit.
Don't know.
Like St. Louis.
Yeah, so that's like a kind of a showbiz thing to say. I'm important. I don't even have to live in New York. So you get to that level. Do you live in Nova Scotia?
Yeah. Well, I would still have something here. I love New York, but yes, absolutely. I'd buy again. I'm not making that up. I'd buy a small house. I would start smoking cigarettes. I would.
Why
get
are
a
you
beard.
waiting to start smoking cigarettes until then? You could
Because
start smoking cigarettes
That's not
now.
cool here. I want to drive my truck back and forth to Sobeys while fucking listening to Anne Murray and screaming at seagulls. I got like one of those weird hats from a town that just says Skidoo, pizza, a phone number over here.
So your goal in life is to be a Canadian hick.
Nova Scotian. Nova Scotian.
Okay.
Maritime. Yes, absolutely. I want an old truck that doesn't have any of the, like, no Bluetooth, nothing. Old dials, maybe a CB radio, pack of fucking Players Light, and just the road I've been on 2.5 trillion times. Cup of coffee, a few seagulls.
How long
Love it.
have you been in New York?
12 years.
What do you think of the band, the Tragically Hip? Apparently, they're a Canadian. They're apparently the biggest band in Canada
Mhm.
that no one knows outside of Canada.
Yeah.
So I said to my friend who's from Edmonton, send me their best stuff.
Jordan Peterson?
Send me your best. Send me send me the best Tragically Hip songs.
What'd you hate about it?
And it wasn't bad. I struggled to like it, and I just couldn't do it.
Do you like Rush? I feel you.
I
Like
do
Rush.
like Rush.
Yeah, I don't know
do
why.
like Rush.
I don't even know why.
Yeah, I
There's
do
something
like
about you
Rush.
that says Rush.
Yeah.
Tom Sawyer?
Tom Sawyer's good.
Uh-huh.
I like Limelight, Spirit of Radio,
Suburban.
Mission, Time Stand Still.
But you
I
didn't
could
like.
go on.
You didn't like.
But the hip, I was trying and I was struggling and I was like, I was forcing myself. I'm like, no, this ain't working.
What'd you listen to? Bob Cajun?
Bob Cajun,
Uh-huh.
and a couple of other ones,
New Orleans is singing.
and I just couldn't do it.
Gotcha. You ever hear Kim Mitchell?
Is that a song by the Tragically Hip?
No, it's a man
Oh,
who's
okay.
also from Canada who
All right.
sings Rock and Roll Party. Rock and Roll Duty, sorry. I Am a Wild Party and something else. That would be, I think, harder for you to listen to.
Yeah,
He's a tougher pill to swallow than the Tragically Hip is. Tragically Hip, I think, are great.
Yeah.
Kim Mitchell, I also think is great, but for different reasons. But it's a tougher deal.
You guys are making it sound like Canada's like some like remote village.
No,
in,
but
like,
the Tragically Hip is oddly enough unknown outside of Canada. Like you'd think they're right next to the United States, but they never penetrated. And they were on SNL. Somehow they got on SNL, I believe. And
Lawrence
Well,
Canadian.
I don't know if it's because of Lauren.
Right. I mean, so
but
obvious-
they didn't connect. Like there was no.
America said no.
America just basically said no to the Tragically Hip.
Yeah, they said just looked right at him and said no. I'm having that same problem right now. And Lawrence had me on a couple of times. I've been on Saturday Night Live a few times. I've hosted. I've been a musical guest.
Yeah, I didn't see those episodes.
You should check them out.
it's a golden eagle.
Fuck, way
Is
off.
what the mascot of the high school?
Coal miner would be so much better. Guy just covered in soot. The thing. It's a coal mining town.
It is.
Yeah. Either way, I was just fucking around. Yeah, I like the Tragically Hip.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other issues did
Didn't
I
you have 4? So
I had well, I'll give you a choice. We could talk about Jimmy Carr on Fallon. We could talk about me opening for Howie Mandel, but that's more me. That's just more me. I feel like you're the guest. I don't want to make it all about me. Or if you have a topic that you, what time is it, by the way?
It's 6:15.
Okay, we got to kill. I mean, we got to. We are blessed with more time. Unless you have a particular topic.
Oh man, no. I mean, this is your guys' podcast. I don't want to.
But you're the guest, so if there's something going on in Nate Macintosh land,
In Nathan Macintosh land.
Do you do any opening? I'm opening for Howie Mandel this weekend in the Midwest. We were talking about that before the show. You asked what borders Nebraska
Mm-hmm.
to the north. Not sure why you were asking that question, but Nebraska. But I'm actually going to be in Iowa, which is a state. Anyway, so do you do any opening work?
I've only opened for one person ever years ago. I opened for Bob Saget in Toronto years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you meet him?
Yeah, he was the nicest person ever. I can tell this story for 15 minutes.
Go ahead. Well, you're only 15. Just
Give me 12.
all right.
So a friend of mine was supposed to open for him, and he couldn't make it. So 3 days before, a friend calls me and he goes, "Hey, do you want me to put your name in to open for Bob Saget?" I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be great." He goes, "Send me a clip. I'll send it to Bob's people." I get an email from Bob's people, and they say, "Yeah, come to this show." So it's the Queen Elizabeth Theater in Toronto, 1,200 seats. Biggest thing I'd done at the time, and I was, really fucking.
No.
I was probably doing a few years, but I was nervous and excited and all that kind of stuff. They were like, "You're doing a half hour."
Oh, yeah, that's a
I'm like,
lot
It's a lot.
when you're new.
Yes. So I get to the theater. I walk in. I'm at the back. Bob was on stage tuning his guitar. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to bother him. So I'm just going to walk up and sneak down to the green room. I go to the green room. Somebody comes in kind of angrily. And he goes, "Bob wants to talk to you." And I go, fuck, okay. Here we go. Here's where he's going to yell at me. He's going to give me a bunch of rules. He's going to say, here's what you can't do. I
No
walk
Anne
up.
Murray jokes.
No Anne Murray jokes, if you even talk about this lady. And no Jordan Peterson. I know nobody knows who he is right now.
Yeah, he's going to
But
be big.
Preempt, yeah, he's going to be huge. So I walk up on the stage. He gets off the stool, and he's like walking over to me with a big smile on his face. And he's like, "Oh, my God, thank you so much for doing the show. I'm so happy to have you here." And I'm like completely shocked. And I shake his hand. I'm like, "Thanks for having me." Yeah. And he's like, "I'm so happy you're doing the show." And he's like, "I loved your video." And I go, "You saw my video?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I thought it went to your people." And he goes, "I'm my people." He goes, "I just don't want to tell, but he goes, "I watched it."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I thought it was great, so thank you for doing the show." I go, "Thanks." Anyways, I go down to my green room, and I'm just going over 30 minutes of stuff, and he comes in. He's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm looking at my stuff." And he goes, "Come into my green room." So I go into his green room. It's like this, I guess. Huge table full of all, stuff. Hummus, all tons of things. And he's with this model lady. He goes, "Hey, so take whatever you want." He goes, "This is my girlfriend."
Take whatever you want did not include the girlfriend.
Not at all. And also, so Bob couldn't have been nicer. And not to say this lady was rude or whatever, but she definitely was like, I don't need to meet you. So she was on her phone, social media, and she went, "Hey." Barely, you know what I mean? Wouldn't have even registered me as a person.
Yeah,
More just a blob that's on her left.
Right.
But anyways, Bob then started talking about how lucky he was that he was able to do this theater and that people were coming out to see him and that his career, and he was just talking about how thankful he was for stuff, and he was very nice. Anyways, so so before the show, I'm sitting beside the stage, and I also asked him. I said, "Hey man, can I do one joke about Full House?" And he's like, "What's the joke?" I told him. He goes, "I'd be honored." Anyway, so I'm sitting beside the stage, and they go, "Okay, so just at 8 o'clock, just walk out there." And I go, "Okay," But in my head, I went, "This is gonna be terrible. I'm getting no intro, and I have to do a half hour."
And they're there for him.
Oh yeah, I go, "This is gonna be very bad." But what are you gonna do? In my head, I go, "I'm gonna have to deal with it." Bob goes, What? No, give him an intro. Get 3 fucking credits. Say his goddamn name over the loudspeaker and give him a proper intro." So, anyways, he does that. I go out, and I don't know why, but I knew somebody was gonna yell, "You're not Bob Saget." I just knew it. I could just feel it.
Yeah.
So I probably had done like 3 minutes or something, and somebody just out it yells, screams in a 1,200 seat theater, "You're not Bob Saget." And then the Full House joke that I asked him if I could do, I said, it's so simple or whatever, but I go, "Yes, I'm not Bob Saget, but I do get to play to a full house." People laughed, and then I was good. Then the whole thing was fine. Anyways, I come off stage. Bob couldn't have been nicer in the little time before he went out. The security guards were like, "Hey, man, just so you know, when that guy heckled, Bob came over to us and was like, if that guy says one more fucking thing, throw him the fuck out of this building." He goes, don't let him, he goes, "Serious to God, do not let him heckle this man." Lost his mind. And then the guy didn't say anything else. After the show, Bob was incredibly nice, took a bunch of pictures and all that kind of stuff. And he was like, stay in touch. I never did. Long story short, I'm trying to kill 12 minutes here.
No, this is a good story.
Dan gave up 13 minutes ago.
I think this
No,
is a
no,
good
no,
story.
it's a great
I think it's a good
story.
story, and
So-
I give myself full credit for kind of encouraging you to go with it. Go ahead.
Full credit. Can you please ask the black people to leave, please? Anyways, so about a year later, I was moving to New York, right? And I didn't know anybody here at all. I moved here not knowing anybody except one fucking guy who didn't have anything. So I go, like, literally, I had zero connections to this place. So I go, I'm gonna Hail Mary. I'm going to reach out to Bob Saget. So I DM him on Twitter, and I go, hey man, I opened for you like a year ago at the Queen Elizabeth Theater. He goes, what's your number? Bob Saget called my phone. Called me. This guy, it's such an insane thing. I don't know what he would have been worth at the time. He could have been anywhere in the world, right? Driving around in wherever, doing whatever. He took the time to call me, a human that to this day can't help anybody. So it was insane that he did that, like miraculous, wild. And he basically was like, I know this person at the cellar. No, sorry, not the cellar. He's like, I know this person in the city. This person scares me. And that was sort of it. But just the fact that he took the time to call my phone is like complete insanity. Like easily the nicest person I ever met in comedy.
There's a lot of
now.
very nice people I mean, I'm not denying that he was very, very nice.
There are a lot of nice
Ray
people.
Romano is ridiculously nice.
I'm not taking away from anybody else's niceness.
Drew Carey, Howie Mandel is very nice.
I've never met Drew Carey or Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
I've talked to Ray. He's a very nice man. All I'm saying is this man and this interaction
Right.
is the nicest one I've had in comedy. And I haven't had like horrific.
And Robin Williams was
Yes, I met Robin
was
Williams.
very
one time,
nice.
yes.
And he used to come here, and he used to sit at the table where he didn't like sit at another table. Which, by the way, if he did, I wouldn't have held it against him.
Of course.
But some comics that are big names, they have their own little. They stay with each other. All the big name comics, they'll stay in a little corner and they won't interact with everybody else. But Robin Williams would come to the corner table where everybody was sitting, and interact and just talk with us. And you didn't get any sense that he felt he was any better than we were.
He came when he was filming Man of the Year in Toronto. He came to an open mic. And we kind of heard that he was coming, but we're like, there's no way he's going to come to this thing. He walks in just wearing like a parka, like pretty unassuming. And he walks up to us and he goes, hey, I'm Robin Williams. We're like, yeah, man, you've been fucking famous all of our lives. Like I have not known one day that you were not a famous person. So yes, very famous, a very nice man. But the interaction I had with Bob Saget and his, like that was like incredible. It was just such a nice
You bring
thing.
up like you had this awful feeling that people are going to say, you're not Bob Saget.
Yes.
That's my anxiety because there's always something to be anxious about.
Do you know what the crazy part about that is?
I always feel like I'm going to walk out there and I'm like, we're not here for you.
Do you know what the thing is, though?
Yeah.
The person that said, you're not Bob Saget, was actually two black women.
They said it in unison. You thought it was one person.
You're not, and then the other one stood up. No, I just knew. I just knew it, and it happened.
But
it just completely happened.
No one's ever said that to me when I
Well, what
been
would
an
they
opener.
say to you? What would they say?
Well, they wouldn't say you're not Bob Saget because I never opened for Bob Saget, but they might say you're not whoever I was opening for. Either Louis C.K. or Howie Mandel. Those are the
Yeah.
only famous people I've opened. I did open for Frankie Valli one time.
Wow.
Um,
Especially with no intro, though, is the thing.
Yeah, no
it was
intro is
going to
insane.
be- it was going to be a miserable
Yeah.
half hour.
Yeah.
But the fact that
and
Bob
Richard
fought
Lewis I opened for.
for them to have a fucking intro and that, it was good.
Yeah.
But-
I assume comedy audiences know there's going to be an opening act? I mean, is
You would
that...
imagine so.
I don't really know what comedy audiences know because I'm so in this world and for so long that I don't know how people that are not in this world think.
I don't think they know it the way that we know it, right? Especially, there are people that are going to like their first comedy show. Like they don't know that there's like a formula
Yeah.
for how to do a show, right? Like they don't know that, I don't think.
Some people might not, but some people, they got to assume there's something. But also some people, depending on who the comedian is too, wouldn't give a fuck. And they're going to yell things and be like, you are not the person I came to see.
What do you think are the qualities that make a good opener? Is it necessarily just kill? No, I'm serious. Like if you chose an opener, so you get to that level where you got Latvian hookers and you're selling out a stadium.
But that's a long way away. That's 60,000 people, all tits.
Now, what do you look for in an opener? Is it just someone you like hanging out with? Is it someone you think is going to kill really, really hard? Is that the main criteria? Or is the main criteria someone that's not going to kill too hard because you want to be the big star, but they're going to get nice laughs? And I don't know. I don't know what. Quite frankly, I don't know what the point of an opener is. If the main guy can do an hour and a half, which is a lot of time, and maybe they don't want to do that long.
It's also, you got to do the whole thing now. You have to open the whole. You have to literally be your own host.
So they could just say, "Are you like?" Look, when I go to see a band, typically there's not. If there is an opener, I don't usually pay attention.
There's usually openers for bands.
Yeah, but I don't. I think I usually come late.
Yeah, of course you do. But the band wants an opener. They want somebody to go on in front of them.
But if they just said late, like I saw Jackie Mason on Broadway. There was no opener. There's no opener when Alex Edelman did his off-Broadway show.
Broadway. I went to see fucking. There's no opener for Wicked either. It's
Yeah.
Broadway.
Right. But so why?
There should have been an opener for Wicked.
Why is that different? Why does Jackie Mason's one-man show, which was stand-up, by the way,
Can I tell you why?
did not need an opener?
Well, my only thought. Now I don't know why, but here's the thought. You have to be in that fucking seat on Broadway at a certain fucking time.
Yeah.
Everywhere else, you can do whatever you want. Comedy club, show up whenever. You want to get here at 9:58? The show started at 7:30. Cool. That's why.
Right.
Same as
and they're going to be focused and kind of well behaved because
Yes.
that's the vibe of
Broadway
the theater.
is like, we say we close these doors at 7:45.
Right.
That you're not getting in. So then you don't need somebody for that. Everybody's seated. Everybody's ready to go.
So then the job of the opener in that case is just to kill time while everybody's sitting.
Yes, that's exactly.
Not necessarily to make people
Sitting,
laugh so that they're
ordering.
used to whatever.
No, that the laugh part too, but like getting people ready, like into the whole deal. But again, Broadway, they don't have any of that. More places should be Broadway. Get here at a certain fucking time. Sit down. Stop it.
Stop it. It's amazing.
Stop it.
That's probably the explanation.
That might be one of the explanations. I think that there is something to the sort of the pomp and circumstance of it all, that you want to get everybody situated and ready and prepared for the show. And I think that there probably is also something that comics like to hang out with other comics, and generally speaking, if the opener drives the comic who's headlining to the show. I mean,
That's at a lower level. At a big level, like your Romano, your Seinfeld, your Gaffigan, they all have openers.
Yeah.
Are they having openers on because they just want to be generous with a comic that could use the money? I
don't think it's just the money. I think it's also about maybe give
a longer show to the public so the public gets a better show because there's more. I don't know.
And maybe showcasing. First of all, I think that you want somebody amazing to open for you because it makes you look better when you're surrounded by other people who are great. You don't want somebody like mediocre opening for you. You want somebody who's hilarious.
Now, what about somebody that's so hilarious? I mean, this would never happen because they're all there for the headliner, but would you want...
No, they're not, says you. Remember Mother's Day, 5 p.m.? You didn't think any of those people came to see you.
Well, but the headliner is a famous person.
But
yeah.
Okay.
So the idea that an opener is going to like outshine the headliners probably would never happen, but theoretically, would you want somebody that's funny but not too funny?
No.
Yeah. Nathan Macintosh, you say what?
I don't even know anymore. Honestly, I think I lost what we were.
I'm saying, who would be your opening act when you
MC Hammer? If I had my actual choice, my real Pumps in a Bump. He does it twice, and then I come out.
And you would tell him you're going to do the Addams Family and you're going to do Too Legit to Quit.
Too Legit to Quit would be all right too. Yes, and by saying I honestly think probably the best titled album of all time. Please Hammer. Don't hurt him. I'm not even
that's
kidding.
the title of his album?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's all. I really think. Look it up. I really think that's the best title of any album ever.
You can't touch this on that album?
Please Hammer. Don't hurt him. That's the best.
Is that the best title?
That's the best title. Give me a better title.
Beggar's Banquet, the Rolling Stones?
Not at all. Beggar's Banquet?
Yeah, it's kind of
compared
a
to
cool notion.
Compared
cool
to
idea.
Please Hammer. Don't hurt him?
That's good. I'm not saying it's not.
It's the best. It's somebody beside the
What's
stage.
on that
MC
album?
Hammer. I'm pretty sure fucking yeah, you can't touch this
Can't
on there.
touch.
Hammer's about to go on stage. The stage manager's like, please, Hammer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't hurt him.
Yeah.
And then he obviously goes out there
And he
hurts
hurts him. He rips them.
hurts him.
He rips them in
What
the-
you got? Banquet's ball.
Beggar's Banquet is a Rolling
Isn't that
Stones.
a Rolling
album.
Stone. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
a Rolling Stone.
Stones.
I think that you could riff on that for your next.
Rush has it.
special.
You know what? Rush has an album with it. Rush has it.
It's an hour.
Rush has an album called "Hold Your Fire."
That's not even close.
No, but it's similarly. You know, in both cases, you're holding your fire.
I
Please
think-
hammer, don't hurt him, and hold your fire. A similar notion.
Please, hold your fire from Rush sounds like they're saying it to the audience. Don't shoot us.
Right, but you see that you could see the similarities.
Well, let's put a poll on this podcast.
I'm not saying
See
it's a
what I-
better title. I'm saying I see the similarity.
I'm not even trying to argue with it. I'm saying let the.
Wait, in other words,
humans
if you
decide.
said to Hammer, "Please hammer, don't hurt him,"
Mhm.
and if you said to Hammer,
Please.
yeah, if you said Hammer, hold your fire. it
But
would
see,
be a
that's what the problem with the Rush album. It doesn't say Rush, hold your fire. It's hold your fire, which is them going on stage and being like, stop throwing stuff at us.
Okay.
We're going to do Tom Sawyer. Yes, we're opening with it. Yes, we're closing with it.
And
Stop
yes,
throwing things.
yeah, okay.
Don't throw Tim Hortons cups.
Do you know any Rush songs, Peril?
Maybe if you said them, I would recognize them, but not off the
Well,
top of my head.
the biggest hit I think was Closer to. Well, no, Tom Sawyer, Limelight, and Closer to the Heart.
I think I know Closer to the Heart.
This has been, I think, a very good discussion.
I particularly like listening to that song in the corner of my bathroom with the Northern Lights light.
That would be a good
Closer to the heart. Lights off.
Northern Lights in my
Northern Lights on.
bathroom is perhaps the title of my album.
I was gonna say that's a great
That's
album title.
great.
Northern Lights in my bathroom. That's
That-
a great title.
That is great for your next special.
right below. Please hammer, don't hurt him.
Okay.
Northern Lights in my bathroom is hilarious. So stupid and good.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
I'm really into for your next special, you getting dressed up like MC Hammer on the cover of Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Them, and really recreating that.
It's an entire hour about that one album. I break down every single song.
Now, would it be Please Nathan, Don't Hurt Them, or would it be Please Mr. Macintosh?
I think Hammer. I would just do the whole thing.
Please, Mr. Macintosh is sort of a good title.
Please
for an album.
Mr. Macintosh is fucking great.
I like that as a title.
Dan's
Please,
ready to go. He wanted to put his jacket on 26 minutes ago. He was
I'm just
looking at
the
it.
time. I want to give the people pay for an hour. I want to give them at least an hour. That's
if we had maybe we could have an opening podcast.
Yes, 10 minutes. You have a podcast.
an
coming
hour is
there.
a long time to do comedy. Do you get fatigued, Nathan, or I just have low endurance? Because I find that like I have to, post like 45, 50 minutes. It's like this is fucking, not easy.
We work for like an hour a night.
Yeah, but it's an hour at full intensity.
Yeah,
it's
no,
an
it
hour at
Full
a.
Natterman.
It's an hour at full intensity.
But full Natterman's like pretty chill.
I mean, and there are people that do like an hour and a half,
But
2,
also
3.
you don't like
but
I
I
mean-
don't stop to breathe.
yeah.
Like some comics, because I'm so scared that if I'm not funny for 2 minutes, they're gonna walk out. So I don't have like a Chappelle can just sort of sit there with his cigarette and
Cigarette.
with a cigarette, and he can just kind of stay there in the zone and not say anything, and with full confidence that all eyes will stay riveted, and they will.
But
And-
if you weren't anxious, if you had your anxiety a little bit more under control, you could do that too, and
Probably.
people would also stay
Yeah,
riveted
probably.
and
I'm-
not get up and walk out.
I'm
Yeah,
always
you're
worried they're
the-
going to walk out. That's my fear.
You're the one, and I would say I do this sometimes too. You're the one walking out on yourself.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean?
Thank you, Oprah.
Okay.
Or Dr. Phil, maybe.
All right. Please, Phil.
Please,
Don't hurt
Dr. Phil. You have to go back to your special for a second. You
But Nathan's also at fucking a top energy.
that's what I was just about to say. You are at very high energy. You're extremely animated, and it's an active
It's a lot of
thing.
screaming.
Yeah, you can't phone in
No.
Nathan's act.
I try not to. But yeah, I have some of that. There's a little bit of fear, but also I don't like the spaces sometimes, but Dan's wanted to leave for literally
He'll be
42
fine.
minutes.
He'll be
42
fine.
minutes.
No, go ahead.
I'm kidding. I don't like the space between stuff because sometimes I'm like, what's the waiting for? Is there not more things to be said? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I actually kind of found it weird when I first moved to New York. The streets are completely insane, right? Everybody's yelling, everybody's screaming, and then a lot of comedy is like, hey, I went to the store the other day, and I was like, what the fuck? This doesn't match the fucking street at all.
Yeah, no, I guess it's an interesting observation.
Because a lot of people yelled at me. They were like, well, you're so loud. You're yelling things. I'm like, do you live here? How the fuck am I out of place, you psycho? You're speaking at a zero. You're literally speaking at zero. How the fuck do you even live here? Do you fly in every day from Des Moines? You're not even the same. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to many people. Hey, guys.
Yeah, I would imagine that coming here from Canada, from Nova Scotia, to Queens. You live in Queens, right?
Well, I lived in Toronto for a few years before I came here.
Okay.
The move from Nova Scotia to Toronto was bigger than the one from Toronto to here. But Toronto to here was still big. But Nova Scotia to there.
Well, how are you here legal? Do you have to have some sort of?
Here we go. This is where it gets.
You have to have some sort of paperwork, documentation.
Wants my papers.
What do you ice?
Yeah.
No, I just wonder how that works.
I have a green card. Yeah.
Oh, you have a green card.
Yeah. You want to see it?
No, I don't need to see it.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
But do
take it home.
Do you get it? Like, did you have to apply for like an artist visa and say that like?
I had the artist visa, yeah, and then I applied for a green card.
was like
Nathan
Macintosh. No, because like somebody asked me to write them a letter saying that we a comic that I won't mention, but like to saying that we need him here.
Anne
like
Marie.
he can't. Nobody here does what he does. Or something like that. Like
an alien of exceptional ability. Is that extraordinary ability?
Insane title.
It's a great title.
It's insane. I'm embarrassed. It's insane.
I love it.
Alien of extraordinary ability is disgraceful.
Well, it sounds
I can't believe they write that.
It sounds like something in a science fiction movie.
Absolutely. It sounds like something Lex Luthor was trying to fight. It doesn't. It's wild, but that's what the status.
That is just kind of a cool.
I don't find it cool at all. I truly find it embarrassing.
Well, but you don't have to tell anybody.
Alien, for one, no matter what you do, pay tax here. Fuck you. Alien of extraordinary ability. It's just like, Jesus.
Well,
there are some real abilities out there.
How do you prove that you're of extraordinary ability?
I have to be on this podcast. This is one of the things.
Can you start fires with your mind?
I can start fires with my mind. The Homeland Security calls me every once in a while. They're like, you gotta do at least 2 or 3 more podcasts this month and show us something. You really got to go on there. And show us
are they like Esty, where if you don't continuously show them you're of extraordinary ability, they can revoke the green card?
Like I said, I have to send avails to Homeland Security
to maintain your extraordinary ability status.
Yeah, they want to see me.
You have to audition for Homeland Security
every couple of weeks. I got to go to the airport. You know that line for customs?
Mm-hmm.
There's a mic in front of it. And every once in a while, when I go, I have to turn around and make those people fucking laugh. It's tough, man. It's a tough gig.
And there were 2 black ladies there once.
Always. I mean, always. And I always have to be like, "Can you please?"
Well,
Natterman would not approve.
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks, Dan.
I don't say that about every Canadian.
I believe it.
Yeah. Some Canadians,
there are a
we
lot
don't need
of
them.
very
You're
funny
a Canadian.
My parents are, yes.
We've had this argument. If your parents are Canadian, you're 80% Canadian. 80.
Well,
At least.
Canadian's not an ethnic group, so you can't like inherit it. Now, I did have Canadian citizenship at birth and expired when I was 25 because I didn't file whatever paperwork I needed to. So I no longer. But I had.
You could still get it though, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I probably could, but there's no point. Other than like if a plane gets hijacked by people that hate America.
That's never happened.
And. Or like the hostages in Iran, where the people with Canadian passports, they let them go.
Argo,
yeah. So other than that,
seems like you just gave like 2 like really good reasons to get.
Well, but it's very unlikely that I'll be in those situations.
What if Jordan Peterson wants you to open for him?
I would have to do the paperwork.
Is it too late, or is it still possible?
It's possible. Both my parents are Canadian. I could get a Canadian.
Now, are
passport.
they Quebecois?
They're Quebec, English-speaking Quebecers. So
That
Quebecois
might
is usually a word that you usually would use for the French-speaking
But
population.
I wonder if that's where your affinity for French came in.
Well, it probably played a role of some sort. I took Spanish in high school because they told me it was easier. But it is not.
No, it's not.
They only say it's easier because it's racism. Because it's not a prestige language, because we associate it with, the guy delivering food. That's why I think people think it's an easier language, but it's not actually harder than French, in my opinion. Thoughts?
I agree with you. I took French in high school too, and I don't think that Spanish is easier.
I think
than
Spanish
French
is
at
hard.
all. Yeah, I think
it's harder. We want to thank Nate Macintosh.
Nathan.
Nathan Macintosh. Nobody calls you Nate?
Only everybody in America.
Okay.
But my full name is Nathaniel, but I go by Nathan.
But you go by Nathan.
Yeah. So we're done. We're done?
Well, yeah, we are done.
right.
I'm just going to sign off.
Wait, and where everybody can watch your special?
Yeah, it's called Down with Tech. It's on YouTube. Please check it out. You can also follow me. I know on all social stuff at Nathan Macintosh. I got a bunch of upcoming shows on nathanmacintosh.com. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Podcast at ComedySouth.com for comments, questions, and suggestions. Bye-bye.